I'm Tim. Welcome to Watch Want, and thanks for logging on. Today we're looking at this Rolex Oyster Perpetual Cosmograph Daytona reference 116509, 18 karat white gold and 40 millimeters. You can see this Rolex Daytona and purchase it on our website, watchyouwant.com. And if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch You Want Inc. Now, you can see that this watch is something like a frosted, sugar-coated sugar cookie dipped in honey. It's got the best of everything. Full 18 karat white gold bracelet, case, bezel, mother of pearl dial, and diamond set. This watch on my wrist, 16 centimeters, 6 1/3 inches in circumference, has immense heft for a 40 millimeter reference. Now, the Daytona, the current 6-digit reference, measures about 47.5, 48 millimeters from extremity of lug to opposite extremity, but with all solid center link bracelets, solid end links, and the mass of full white gold construction, I'm feeling something that suggests a larger watch. Although the dimensional fit is excellent, this is the very definition of the premium pull of a precious metal watch on the wrist. If you want that experience, you want a full gold Daytona. Now, you can see that it is nevertheless quite compatible with a dress cuff, being only about 12.5 millimeters thick. The watch sits fairly low on the wrist. Now, it has a bit of a cupped case back, so the actual level above the skin is even less than that 12.5 millimeters, and with a conical bezel and a slightly sloped crystal, it easily slides under the tightest sleeve or dress cuff. Now, you can also see that the bracelet itself features ergonomic refinements that make it more compatible with a smaller wrist. For one thing, Rolex understands that even as their cases do become incrementally larger at the margins, now with the solid links at the end pieces, you can see how it flares out a little bit more than some of the historic models. Rolex maintains the ability of the bracelet to fold straight down around the tight curve of a smaller wrist, and moreover, the individual links do feature a bit of camber, so its natural state is in a curved form, again for ergonomic excellence. Now, on the underside, you can see the channels of evacuated material so it will not pull hair or pinch skin. And then we move around to the matching 18 karat white gold clasp, which you can see is the latest generation Rolex milled out solid piece. Very, very substantial, with beautiful contrasting finish, brushed and polished. It works as beautiful as it looks, and you can see that with Rolex's 5mm Easy Link quick adjust, if your wrist does expand during activity or hot weather, you can make a quick adjustment on the fly without the intervention of a jeweler. Now, the finish of the bracelet is as beautiful as the finish of the clasp, alternately polished, brushed, and polished for differentiation without being gaudy. Now, the watch does feature a unique bezel treatment that you'll see on the platinum, the white gold, and the rose gold Daytonas, and that's the replacement of the dot indices underneath the tachometer scale numerals with these triangular indices that you see here. A subtle nod to the Rolex connoisseurs who know to look for it. But inboard, you find the centerpiece of this particular Daytona, and that's a gorgeous Rolex mother of pearl preserved dial with brilliant cut gems inset on 18 karat polished white gold numeral mounts, I should say index mounts, with outboard Arabic numerals in 18 karat white gold and a 5-point Rolex coronet at 12 o'clock. Now, all of the individual sub-registers feature a beautiful polished white gold chapter ring, and each one features a variation on the sector dial treatment with broad and varied intervals between the constant seconds, chronograph hours, and then a tighter pattern at the minutes register at 3 o'clock for differentiation. Now, the dial is gorgeous and does feature that classic splash of red color above the constant seconds at 6 o'clock. For that matter, you can see the architecture of this dial declares this as a modern caliber 4130 in-house Rolex movement Daytona. Now, the watch can be judged as a in-house movement because you have constant seconds at 6 o'clock, and that's all you really need. But if you want to know a few more points of distinction, compared to the Zenith movement that powered the watch from 1988 to 1999, the sub-registers at 3 and 9 o'clock have their pinions just slightly above the plane of the Canon pinion at center. They're just elevated slightly above, and the chronograph pushers themselves are exactly perpendicular. If you were to draw a tangent across that point of the round of the case, they are exactly perpendicular to that flat plane tangent. Now, the watch features 100-meter water resistance, so while it's not a dive watch, with screw-down pushers and crown, you can easily get this one wet with no concerns. It also debuted the long power reserve in the modern Rolex line. We've seen it now on the Yacht-Master 2, on the Sky Dweller, and the latest reference, Date 840. Back in 2000, with the 4130 chronograph movement, Rolex rolled out its first modern 72-hour power reserve movement. So with smooth, perpetual, Rolex speak, bidirectional automatic winding, this one can top itself off, and if you do have a rotation of watches, this one can be off the wrist for a day or two without running down. Now, the movement architecture was upgraded from the original Zenith, keeping the column wheel for crisp actuation. You can hear that snick and snap as I cycle the chronograph, but it adopted a modern vertical clutch engagement architecture, so you can see, thanks to the vertical clutch engagement architecture, the hand starts smoothly without any jump, doesn't gain seconds or fractions of a second, and when stopped, it doesn't stagger. It also resets precisely to the index at 12. One final nice refinement of the 4130 is that because it does have the vertical clutch, you can run the center seconds, basically the chronograph seconds hand, as though it were part of the three-hand civil time. If you prefer constant center seconds, the in-house movement Rolex Daytona is the one for you. You can see this Rolex Oyster Perpetual Cosmograph Daytona, reference 116509 in 18-karat white gold, mother-of-pearl diamond set dial on our website, watchyouwant.com.